Hi guys, good morning. Happy Friday. I'm so happy to be on here talking to y'all today. I've been wanting to get on here for quite a minute, and I just realized that the presentation that I want to show y'all today is not fully ready, like in my tab. So let me go get that ready really quick while I talk to you. Hopefully you can still see me. Um, so what I want to go over today actually is about water retention. So, and water weight fluctuation and kind of how that works. So let me just pull this up. Hopefully you don't like lose me for a minute. But it's worth it because it's going to be really cool conversation today. So hold up just a moment. We're going to talk about water weight and let's see. Do I have it? July 6th. I think this is it. Okay, cool. I got it. All right. So let me go back to my streaming. Okay. So anyway, hi. Okay. So we're going to talk about water weight today. And today I'm here at the clinical office where I see my patients. If you're seeing me for an in-person office visit, and then also do like online sessions. A lot of people prefer online, but I like having an office to be able to see you guys in. So yeah, I'm over here in South Lake right now, and I have about a 30-minute window in between appointments. So I wanted to be able to get on here and finally talk to you guys about water weight fluctuation because it's kind of been a thing. A lot of people have been struggling with water weight fluctuation over the past week and a half, and I'm like, I'm going to go live and talk about water weight fluctuation. So I'm finally here. Let's talk about it. So, what is water weight? So, water weight is weight that you gain that is kind of around 1 to 3 pounds, depending on the person. Even could be more, like even 1 to 10 pounds, depending on how tall you are and what's going on with your body at the time. But we retain water from having a lot of sodium, from having dehydration. We retain water from being super hot. We retain water when we work out, and we've got a lot of like muscle inflammation. And so we're going to go over today like what causes water weight gain, and how do you fix water weight gain. And so this is the first time I'm having a presentation on how to show you guys this. So I'm so excited to share with you guys on that. So let me get into it. Um, while I get into it, I hope you guys have had an awesome week so far. It has been a really lovely week for me. I would say I've just been kind of busy, but trying to make it to the gym, and just overall a pretty good week. So I hope you guys have had a good week too. Okay, let's see. Untitled presentation. I should probably title it. Okay, here we go. So this is my water weight presentation for you. Um, Let me see if presentation. There we go. Okay. So water weight, what is it? How does it work? So this is something I commonly see, and I just kind of wanted to teach you guys on this because it can really help you understand what's going on when your weight is kind of up and down throughout the week, and you're doing everything correct, and you just don't know why all of a sudden your weight is not going down when you've been eating, you know, according to the plan that I've given you. And so this is kind of going to give you a lot of insight on that. So, water weight, what is it? How does it work? So, what is water weight? Water weight is weight that you gain that is within 1 to 5 pounds. And I even told you guys it can even get up to 10 pounds depending on how tall you are and the situation. But yeah, water weight it can get pretty heavy, and you can feel it. You feel like really swollen when you've got water weight on you. So, what causes water weight gain? So, high sodium meals, snacks that are high in salt. So, high sodium meals are going to be Chinese food, any sort of Asian food, Mexican food, and I would say if you are having just chips, things like chips and nuts and things that have more salt on them, Um, even, let's see, most processed foods have a lot of salt because the sodium helps kind of work as a preservative. So if you eat a diet high in sodium or high in like processed foods, then your sodium content can be pretty high for that day. Also, fast food. So even though you're ordering a chicken or just like a sausage patty and eggs from a, McDonald's or whatever, and you're like, I'm still staying on plan, those foods are going to still have more sodium content in them than they would if you made them at home. So anytime you're eating out, you're always going to be having more salt. Foods that have more salt at home are going to be, obviously, pickles have a lot of salt, but anything, like I said, that's really in the pantry. If it's a fresh fruit or vegetable or just like a meat that you cook yourself, unless you put tons of seasoning on it, those are going to be pretty safe and not too high in salt. I love salt, so I am totally like into eating salty foods. I wish I didn't like it as much as I do, but I love salty foods. Like there comes a part of, oh, cheese is also very high in salt. There's comes a part of the day where I just like really want salt. And it may be because I drink my huge thing of water. And so when you're drinking a lot of water, you are flushing out sodium from your body. And but there comes a time in the day where I'm always craving something salty. And so, anyway, if you're there with me, I mean, it is hard, I know. So anyway, okay, so what causes water weight gain? High sodium meals and snacks, which we just went over. Dehydration, if you're dehydrated, like if you haven't been good about drinking your water all day, even if you're just drinking diet soda all day or diet whatever, you may not be hydrating your body properly, especially if it's caffeinated beverages. So if the beverage that you're having is diet, and I always say like diet's fine, of course, like let's not overdo it with the diet drinks, but if diet beverages help you kind of stay the course, I'd rather you have that than just falling off track. And so diet drinks are okay, but I also want you to know that the ones that have caffeine in them, caffeine is a natural diuretic, and so it makes you urinate your fluids from your body. Not all of them, obviously, but it does make you, release some fluids from your body, so you're not retaining the fluids that you have had, and so it can dehydrate you from drinking caffeine all day. Sometimes we don't think of diet soda as beverages that have caffeine in them. And so so being dehydrated can cause you to have water weight gain. Alcohol, if you're consuming alcohol is also a natural diuretic, and so it makes you urinate and release fluids from your body, and so it can make you dehydrated as well. And that's one of the reasons, why we wake up from drinking too much and we have a headache, because we're super dehydrated and we have a low electrolyte count. And so that's tough. That's no fun. No one likes that feeling, right? Alcohol or not alcohol, swollen muscles. I'm like, what? We just talked about alcohol. Swollen muscles also cause you to have water weight gain. So whenever you're working out and you really like pushed it to the next level, like you went up in weight, or you are doing a new type of exercise that you haven't done, or you change the exercise that you're doing, often you start working different muscles in that exercise. And so when you're working different muscles, you're going to use muscles that you haven't used in a while. And that can cause a little bit of tearing of that muscle. And not that tearing of the muscle is bad. We actually do need to have our muscles somewhat torn to be able to build more muscle. But that tearing causes water swelling. It causes swelling of the muscle, and because it's torn, water goes and infiltrates the muscle, surrounds the muscle to help with the repairing process. And so you have swollen muscles, and they can actually feel very heavy. And so that can make you gain weight as well, but it's not fat. So that's one of the things that I'm trying to help you guys understand, that it's not really fat that you're gaining. It's just water. But when you don't understand that it's water, water, you automatically think it's fat. And I don't want you to automatically think it's fat. And so that can really mess with your mind, right? You're like, oh my God, I'm doing all of this hard work and I'm gaining weight. It doesn't make sense. It's because of all of these things that weight is fluctuating. We'll go over how the weight could fluctuate just for some examples here in just a minute. Menstrual cycle also makes you retain water, and that's just from the hormonal change. That will go back to normal in a week. But if you're on your menstrual cycle, I always tell my ladies, for that week, don't really worry about the weight too much. Just try and stick to the plan as best you can. Your hormones are all over the place that week, and so you can feel like out of control almost. And you can have cravings, and you can have all kinds of changes happen that make you feel awful. And so with all those changes, you gain weight too, which makes your mind even more crazy. You're like, oh my God, I feel terrible, and I've gained weight, and I'm puffy, and I'm bloated, all of that stuff. And it's just because of the menstrual cycle. So whenever you're having like a weekly weigh-in, or you're weighing in daily, however you do your weight, even if you don't weigh in, on the days that you are having your menstrual cycle, don't let that feeling or the scale boss you around that week. Kind of already anticipate like, oh yeah, this week I'm going to feel a little weird because I'm on my cycle. Sometimes we can forget like, oh yeah, I feel like crazy every month at this time. But if you anticipate it, then you're like, okay, I'm not going to let this deter me from staying on the plan. So anyway, so that's on water weight gain. Okay, so how do you know if you've gained water weight? I wrote down a lot here, so it's kind of interesting. So you have gained water weight. You have gained weight. Okay, I'm like, how did I write this out? I wrote this out while watching Grey's Anatomy the other day. Okay, so you have gained weight and it's the day after your off day. So that would be not fat, that would be water weight gain and glycogen storage as well. Whenever you've gained weight after you've taken a day off of your plan. Let's see, you gained weight and you were on plan, but you ate out the day before, even if you were on plan when you ate out. Restaurants use far more salt than you would typically use at home. So this is explaining that, even if you're being on plan, you can gain weight if you just ate out. And that's because of how salty the food is at restaurants. And so, so that's kind of what that's about. Sorry, I'm like, this is a lot to say. I'm getting thirsty. And drinking my water is good, right? Okay, so you would know that you gained water weight if you gained weight and ate mostly meat, cheese, and nuts for the day. That's because meat, cheese, and nuts are higher in sodium typically. Most people put a little bit of salt when they make meat of any sort. Cheese is naturally high in salt, and most people have salted nuts, unless you buy unsalted. But sometimes we'll have really low carb days like meat, cheese, and nuts. And we feel good, like our body has like no hunger, and we're feeling like our inflammation is going down. But the next day you're like, oh my God, I did so good, but my weight hasn't changed. You probably had just a little too much sodium with those food choices. So you did not drink at least 64 ounces of water the day before. So water is super important. So if your water is all over the place, like you are doing the Diet Coke thing I was talking about, or you're just not drinking any water and you forget, you probably are going to see your weight doesn't go down, and it's because you're always retaining water and on top of whatever sodium you're having. So, but it's very variable, like depending on the person. So, you've gained weight and you drink alcohol the day before. Yeah, like we're talking about, alcohol causes that dehydration, which causes water retention, which makes you gain weight. You gained weight and just started a new physical activity routine, just like we were talking about. Okay. Sorry, I just got a text that was not a good one. Okay, you've gained weight and everything's fine, but like That was not a good, I'm like, what's going on? It's patient. So, okay, you gained weight and just started a new physical activity routine. Okay, so that's like we're talking about the muscle soreness and things like that. So any of these, if this is you in any of these categories and you're like, my weight's not going down, I'm annoyed, look to see if you're in any of these certain categories, and it may be that you're just retaining water. And if you just feel puffy, you're probably just retaining water also. How do you get rid of water weight gain? You drink tons of water. This is kind of my routine for to tell anybody what to do to drink, to if they're retaining water, what should you do? This is what I tell everyone to do in a day. So the next day after you've seen that your weight isn't going down, what I want you to do is drink 200 ounces of water. I want you to sweat it out. So do something that makes you sweat for 20 minutes. That sweating, that a release of water from your skin is going to make that sodium get released from your body as well. So if that's going to the sauna, which is my favorite, or walking outside in the Texas heat or whatever heat you're in, or working out, like doing some cardio that really makes you sweat. I'm not talking like I'm a little sweaty. I'm talking really sweaty. So if you can get into the sauna, that's probably going to be the best bet. But if you can't, like get yourself working hard so you can get that sodium out of your body. So at least for 20 minutes, 200 ounces of water as well. Do not eat or drink anything about 4 hours before bed. I don't want you to drink all your water right before bed because that's actually going to make your weight go up even more because you're just holding all this water. So it's tricky, you guys. And then eat a low sodium diet that day. One of my favorite things to tell people is just eat the plainest diet for a day. Basically, I always say, and this could be funny because it's a little higher in carb, but oatmeal, just eat like oatmeal for breakfast and lunch, and then just eat like chicken and vegetables for dinner that day, and you will definitely see some change because the oatmeal has like no sodium in it. So basically, your sodium levels will be like extremely low with that type of plan. Then I have like a low sodium plan to help kind of release all that water as well if you need it. Okay, questions. So let me just get out of this and stop sharing my screen so I can see if anyone has questions. No one is having questions yet. You guys may, if you do, definitely put them in the comments and I'll be able to look at them for you guys and just kind of help answer through the comment feed. But yeah, so if you've been struggling with, your weight just kind of being like up and down, and you're like, what the heck is going on? Like, I cannot break this area. It may be that you're retaining water. And so let's look into that, especially in the summer. In the summer, it is hot and like it's just hotter outside. So you may just be sweating more, just kind of and being more hot, and which makes your body need to cool down, which makes you sweat, just kind of regularly. And then that makes you get more dehydrated. So you may need to drink more water than you're normally drinking. And so my favorite way to get my water in is by having a huge water bottle like this one. I got this one off Amazon. I always show everybody like, this is where I got it, and because it's so easy. Like this, I think was like $15 from Amazon. And I just fill it up at the beginning of the day. And I know like, okay, I think this is about 80 ounces of water. So I try and get like 2 of them in or so, or 1.5. And I know, okay, I'm doing pretty good with my water. So, so that's, the water trick that I like to do. There's tons of water tricks you can do to kind of help you with your water. I wanted to also show you guys a example of, hold on, I'm going to share my screen again. Let's see, the way that your weight could actually look on the scale when it's fluctuating around. So hopefully you can see this. So here in this area, I'm going to just fill in some color to kind of help make it look a little bit prettier. Okay. So, okay, so here on my screen, so this is a daily weigh-in. This is an example of a daily weigh-in, okay? So say that you start your plan on a Sunday and you weigh in every day until always, right? For until I tell you not to, and you're weighing in every day and you're like, okay, I'm starting my plan at 250. I'm trying to just lose weight. We don't have goals yet. We're just trying to get down. And then you do, let's say you're doing palate reset. The next day, you're at 248 from your protein day. So you're like, okay, cool. I'm losing. Yay. I'm so happy. The next day, you're at 247.3. And you're like, oh my God, this is so exciting. I'm so happy. And then you're at 247.1. And you're like, yes, this is incredible. This is like the scenario I wish for everybody. And then on Thursday, let's say Wednesday night, you're doing so good. And then it's like, I'm just going to say, maybe you like do like a Wednesday night church thing. And, everyone wants to go out to eat afterwards. So you go, but you stick to the plan and you're like, I'm doing so good. I'm so proud of myself. It was so hard to pass up on the chips and salsa today, but I did it. I just stuck to my plan. The next day, you're at 248.2. And you're like, what the F? Like, this is not right. I'm so pissed. Like, how did I gain this much weight from, I don't know what I did wrong. And you're so mad, right? And then you're kind of like, okay, like, I'm just going to keep going. The next day, you go down. And the next day, you go down. But you're like, why did that happen? This is because you went out to eat and all the salt in that food. So then you take your free day, you're at 247, you take your free day, and then the next day you're at 249, and you're like, what? Oh my God, I'm so mad. And then you continue on with your plan, and you're going to keep going down. As you know, after the free day, you're going to gain that glycogen storage we've talked about, and water weight. So this isn't fat that you've gained, it's glycogen and water weight. And every week you're going to kind of keep working to go down, 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 all the way until you're the morning of your free day or around Friday or so, where you're going to try and weigh in and be lower than you were before, whether it's 1 pound lower or whatever. But you see how this fluctuation happened. This was because of eating out. And so that happens a lot. And so I just wanted to kind of show you guys an example of that so you don't feel alone when it's happening to you. Because it totally happens a lot. And so just know, eating out, I want you to be able to eat out and have the flexibility to eat out and go do fun things. It just sometimes messes with your weight a little bit the next morning, but it's not bad that, your weight's going up and down like that. So don't worry. If you're wanting to see really good results on your weigh-in day that we've talked about, that's going to be, you don't eat out like a day or two before. You stay very, very hydrated, drink all your water and eat low sodium, and stay within the calories and macros we've set up. And so anyway, I just wanted to show you guys this just in case you were struggling with water weight fluctuation this week. It's a tough one. And it's confusing. And I just want you to not think it's fat. Because when you start thinking, oh my God, I've eaten so healthy and I've done all this stuff and I've still gained weight, that makes me so angry. It'll make you just want to quit in general and quit forever. And the name of the game is staying in the game. And so if you can stay in the game, you're going to get to your goal. If you can't and you decide to quit because your weight went up one day and you're kind of like, who cares? I'm just going to do what I want for the rest of the week and then start over on Monday. Then you're going to put yourself in a situation that it's going to be where you're just going to have to restart the whole thing all over again. And that's just a waste of your time. And I don't want that for you. So it's all about just kind of keep going and keep yourself educated on what's actually happening with your weight. So anyway, you guys, I just wanted to share that with you. I hope this was helpful. If you found this valuable, please comment value so I know it's helping. And I'll see y'all in our live on Tuesday. I'm so excited to be back on live with Kevin on Tuesday. And then if I have any questions that are coming up, I will go over them in Facebook all live also, like I did today with water weight fluctuation. So see you guys soon. Have an awesome Friday. Bye.